we had a certain amount of miniatures to do. As I say, we felt that if this had happened 10 years ago, we'd have had a whole lot more miniatures to do. Computers did eat into our work, but yeah, there was a certain amount of leeway there as well. You know, there's, for example, the bottom of the destroyer, which I made, which is 10x5, I think, was the size of it, and you know, there was a sketch done of that, and the actual interpretation of that sketch in all the panels and the colour changes of the panels and all that is again down to us. You know, nobody's going to tell you, you know, every single panel line where to put it, and so you can just do what feels right. And they, you know, people visit the workshop and they'll see what you've done and they'll clear it, of course. But generally speaking, changes aren't made. And yeah, we sort of would seem to hit the nail on the button, as it were. But yeah, that was a disappointment though, because there was one shot in particular which was not used, and it was what I call going to be a wow shot, where the destroyer comes down and lands on 3 pins as it comes into Vogon City. And there was going to be a lot of arcing added, and there was going to be CG Vogons walking down the street, and it was going to be really good with a couple of little trams as well. And it was scrapped, even though I never saw rushes, but I assume it looked good. I mean, it was shot, and they scrapped this shot in a couple of days shooting. How many £1,000, I don't know, but that was a bit it left a bit of taste in the mouth, you know. Thought, oh, that was going to be such a great shot. And a little Vogon that got stolen off the set, the tram and the driver, which is a shame. But you never even saw the driver. He was there. It's always just in case, you know, the angle that he was shot at. You know, you might have seen him. So if I'd have just put a blob in there, that's not good enough. So I had to sculpt a little driver. It's sod's law. You know, the day you do put a blob in there is the day you can see the blob. And the day you do a really nice sculpt, you just can't see it. So you're always covering yourself, just in case, you know, it does get seen. Maybe it registers subliminally, I don't know. But, you know, most of the time you don't see a lot of what goes into these shots. And yeah, it's just on screen for a second and it's gone. I thought, well, that was a fiberglass affair. Team effort, you know. There was a couple of us making the basic shape. I think I went and finished off the head of it and got the arms installed and fiberglassed it. But then another bunch of guys put all the texture on it and painted it, and you know, so it's all hands to the pumps basically. But there was all the barriers around that, and there was the city as well. That was all for the plug sequence again, or mostly for the plug sequence coming down. There was the whole city surrounding it, which was all vac formed stone effect. Again, you know, a lot of expense not used. I think it was used again for one of the vehicles flying through the city. But yeah, they didn't get their money's worth, really. This is why, you know, later films have been much more satisfying, where the stuff's been on screen, you know, and not trashed on the floor, cutting room floor.